Morning, sorry I'm not with you again. What we're going to do today is we're going to start preparing your assignment, your first assignment for the work experience placement. Now, fortunately, we've already been on placement for quite a long time. This should be fairly straightforward, especially this first assignment, because you're supposed to do this in preparation before work placement. Because you've already been on placement quite a while now, it should be fairly easy because you can kind of think back to what you did and then work that process along. So as you can see on the screen here, what I've done is, on Moodle, I've put in both the assignment brief, the unit handbook, and the copy of the support guide. Now, Stephen will also give you a copy of all these three things, paper version of them. If you lose them, it's your responsibility to print them off again. I'm not printing these off anymore. So you should have 3 documents. If you haven't got them yet off Stephen, just ask him to pass around the support guide you can see on the screen right now. I'll give you a couple of seconds to pass that around, and if you can get hold of one of those straight away, then we can go through it. Okay? Okay, so hopefully you've got one now. If you haven't got it, they'll be coming around anyway. So, it comes in 2 tasks. The majority of it, as I said, can be done and you have to imagine you're doing this before you went on placement, so you're prepared for it. So task 1 is identify and describe 3 realistic places in local businesses that you could go on your work experience. So this is if you're planning beforehand going. So you're going to do the same thing for 3 businesses. Now, one business will be the business you're actually on placement at, because it will make it a lot easier. So what we want to start with today is by doing this. So for each of these businesses, so let's take business 1 here, for example. What you need to do is you need to identify a local business, maybe close to where you live, close to college, something like that. You need to identify the details about business, explain what it is, what they do, a little bit about the background. Then these are important bits. You're going to do this for each business. You're going to identify the benefits you can get for your college course from going on placement. So how can that actually help? Now, in section A2 of the unit handbook, there's some guidance on there. So if you've got it in front of you, you can quickly flip to A2. It talks about clarifying career goals, gaining insight into the way businesses operate, all those kind of things. So what you've got to do is link those to your study. So think about the topics we study in class, the kind of things you do, how the workplace will actually help you understand the stuff you study in theory better. So explain how that would work from there. And remember to relate it to that specific business. So let's say you went into, just for argument's sake, none of you done this, you went into a workplace which is all about retail. Perhaps you'd have a retail unit. Perhaps one of your assignments is all about working in teams. That's a big hint. How would perhaps going into this particular business, so business 1, help you understand how to work in teams better? Now, you're going to do this for each and every one of your businesses. So you can do it in a very structured manner. Business 1, business 2, your actual business is business 3. So you'll just be answering these 4 bullet points for each one. So details about the business, what benefits you can get from the learning, what work skills could you gain from the business as well. So what actual hard work skills can you get? So things like, once again, teamwork, communication, maybe dealing with finances, maybe customer facing, maybe dealing with complaints, all those kind of things. So identify those. And then last one, analyse the benefits of doing work placement the business could have for your chosen potential career. Once again, you can go back to maybe section A2 again, have a look a little bit about A2 it is. Identify those skills and the things you're going to benefit, and basically you're writing a review about why this placement will be good, not just for college, but also for your later life. So it's all about experience, meeting people, and all the various things that you'll gain from that. So when we've looked at that, we can sort of go to one of our later pages. We can figure out how to do that on here. So that's your first task on there. Then you've got section task B within task 1. Using a business you're on placement with, you ought to plan and prepare, just like you did in September and October. So in this section, it's essentially going to be, this is what I'm going to do in preparation. So you'll first explain that you're going to create a CV. You'll explain why the CV is a useful thing, how it's going to help the business get a good picture of you, and how it outlines and sells yourself. Then you're going to talk about all the things you might have to do to prepare. So you'll talk about linking into your the booklet we've done. So your work placement booklet's going to be good for this. You can talk about how making a placement phone call is going to be really important. Then you're going to explain within that phone call all the things you're going to find out about. So you're going to identify all of these points here, but you're also going to tell me what you are expecting to find from it. And you can kind of use your knowledge of what you did find out here. So Where should I go on the first day? So I'd make a phone call. I'd find out where I need to be on the first day. Is this going to be a reception, or do I go to a specific entrance? You could even comment that when I spoke to a business, they told me to meet the owner at a certain place at a certain time. So we're going to work through all of these bullet points, just explain why each of these are important to know, and maybe explain what you've also found out from it. Also goes down to, you talk about things like, outside of an initial phone call, they might have then asked you to go to a meeting or an interview. Explain why this is going to be useful, how are you going to arrange it, what's going to work. And then go through your transportation. How are you going to get to the business? Tell me what bus routes, what train times, all those kind of things that you might need to know. But then actually identify what you found out or what you already know because you're on placement. Then you're moving on to task C, which is evaluate the planning process. So this is where you're going to look at what you've done. So give a full and detailed justification of the benefits that you'll gain from the placement, evaluate the help that the planning process gave you. So talk about how helpful what this process was. Did it help a lot? Did it help very little? Were there aspects you missed out? Were there certain questions you forgot to ask? And identify why these might have caused a problem, or why, when you asked all these questions, it really, really helped. And the last bit, what insights did the initial planning give you into the business and expectations? So in your own words, explain what, before you'd even visited the business, or at least before you started your first day, what impression had you got of the business? How confident were you that you knew what you were going to be doing? Were your expectations, what you thought the placement was going to be like, had this been sort of like solidified a bit? So we're still pretending like we haven't been yet, but we're talking about the process now in this final bullet point. Did you feel the planning process was helpful? Do you feel it's put you in a position where you know what you're going to face if you still hadn't had your first day? And all this covers P1, 2, M1 and D. Now the second task we'll move into, this one is a bit more theoretical, and this is almost about your first day. So it's in two parts. So you're going to talk about induction training, and you'll talk about health and safety training. But the second part to the main part comes from your work placement book. So you'll be submitting photocopied sections of your work placement book along with a witness statement by myself to say that you have completed this. So you need to make sure it's filled in. So the section you're going to do on a report is about induction health and safety training. So you're going to explain what it is, what should be in both induction and health and safety training. If you need some help, sections B1, 2 and 3 of the unit handbook are going to be quite useful here. We talk about why, for instance, health and safety training is so vital. So why is it important? All about safety in workplace. You might be in a workplace which has certain rules and regulations. Then you're going to talk about what you actually got. So this is theoretical. This is actually about your placement. So what training did you get when you first arrived? Talk me through your first day. What were all the things you did on your first day? Because that's when most induction happens. Did they tell you where the toilets were, where to go for lunch? Did they show you and give you a log on? Did they show you any equipment? Did they train you on anything? Did they talk you through a day? How did they do it? Was it coaching? Or did they just give you a manual to read? Did you go round and follow somebody? So explain what you did there. Then you need to then sort of become a bit more critical. So how did this initial training help you when you were working? So every day after that, how did that training help you build up? Why is it so important to carry out the job in a safe and appropriate manner? So why is it important that the job is done safely? Why is it that you do it correctly? Why is it that you follow procedures? You need to explain that. And the last one, how could the induction health and safety training you received be improved upon? This is your distinction. So look at what you did, identify maybe some weak areas, some things which you didn't do or you didn't do straight away, or things you didn't know about, so therefore you have to keep going back to ask, and explain in your own idea how you'd put a little mini training program together, or what would you do to fix it? Would it be simply introducing it to another part of induction? Would it be like having a separate training session? Would it be just building it into a program as it is? Now, there's plenty of work to be getting on with here. The date for handing is somewhere in the unit handbook, and it's also on your assignment sheet. So we'll start it today, and handing deadline is going to be the 12th of the 2nd. We're going to be able to use Tuesdays and Fridays on this. We want to get through as much of this as we can, because there is no real teaching on this unit, mainly because you've already done everything on placement. So the idea is that we can get through this unit fairly quickly. We can make sure it's all a distinction criteria. Please, let's get on with this. The more you can get done today, the less you'll have to do in your own time. So you've got 3 hours a day, 3 hours on a Friday. We should be able to get through a huge amount of this, if not all of it, really, by at least the end of this week and then next week as well. The quicker we do it, the quicker we move on, the quicker we get our distinctions, the quicker we can make sure everything else is improved. Okay, if you do have any questions, I will be in later on today after lunch. If you want to catch me then, that's fine. If you want to email me, that's fine. But I'm sure if you do have any questions or you're stuck on anything before next Friday, ask me before next Friday. I don't want you coming in on Friday saying, I don't get it. Let's make sure we know where we're up to so we can actually catch up and make sure it's all working well. Okay, thanks. See you all later. Bye.